good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are joining us from around the world. Welcome and thank you. Thank you for joining us live to celebrate classrooms and students and school communities around the world who model how to use technology for good every single day. And I am joined, it's Mary Alice. I'm joining live from Connecticut alongside my colleague.
Hola, hello, I'm Eugenia Temes. I'm joining you from Monterrey, Mexico. I'm super excited in this, our fourth week of the Global Student Showcase, and every single day has been a celebration, and today it's no exception, right? So we are getting ready for an absolutely amazing session with the JJ Secret Agents.
Yes. Okay. The JJ Secret Agents have joined us last in October, which is generally Digital Citizenship Week. We celebrated for the entire month, and the JJ Secret Agents were part of that celebration. So to be able to join their teacher, Dr. Rayna Freedman, and the JJ Secret Agents twice in the same year is really fantastic. So if you, wherever you're joining in from, please, let the class know. We'll be sharing comments, and Huheni and I will be behind the stage as JJ Secret Agents take it over and help us Ted Lasso our classroom. Because guess what? It smells like potential to me. So take it away.
All right, here we go. Hello, I am Dr. Rayna Freedman here with the JJ Secret Agents, and we're here to Ted Lasso your classroom because it smells like potential. So the JJ Secret Agents are here to teach you how to discover ways to help your students meet their potential and use their voice to empower change. Students will share a way that he, she, or they can use their voice for good, maximizing his, her, or their potential. And something that we do in here that is applicable to any classroom is 8 lessons for all students from Ted Lasso. All of the activities you're going to see presented here today promote a way for students to be the best version of themselves. They are able to work in collaborative groups and with their teachers and families to learn to listen to the people around them. They are constantly making choices and trying to do what's right. And they're finding ways to channel their emotions through their work. We also talk about being a goldfish, where you make a mistake, you look at it, and you move on. They take on challenges. They've learned that success takes hard work. And one of the most important lessons from Ted Lasso is to always believe. Believe in yourself. So you'll see several things that 5th grade students are doing here at the Jordan Jackson Elementary School in Mansfield, Massachusetts, that just are mind-blowing. And so you're going to be hearing from the blog team, Teddy, Caleb, Wesley, and Regan, the podcast team, Jackson, Gianna, and Ariel, and the student-led conference team with Grayson, Karen, Maddie, and Caleb W. And here they are.
Introduction. Hello. Today we will be talking all about blogs. Our names are Caleb, Regan, Wesley, and Teddy. We are very excited to tell you about our blogs. Blogs are a way to communicate to the world. Blogs are when we write about experiences we've had. We usually have to do blogs every other week. Sometimes blogs can be about other things. For example, someone might write a blog about a sports team, people might interview someone, and some people might even write their own stories.
Why we do blogs. We do blogs to tell the world about experiences in the past. We also do blogs because they are fun. Blogs allow us to communicate with the world about events in our life.
How we do blogs. We find the Google Doc and Google Classroom that we use for every one of our blogs. We write a story or experience that we had in 200 to 350 words. We turn it into Dr. Freeman, and then Dr. Freeman reads it over and she gives us the feedback on ways to make it better. Then we edit it and revise the blog. We turn it in again. And then finally, Dr. Freeman posts the blog to the world. She shares it on our class social accounts and to our guardians.
Blog examples. Here is one of our blogs. if I were the President of the United States by Agent 7. Being the President of the United States is one of the hardest jobs in the world. You have to do at least one speech a day. You have to travel around the world to meet different people. You have to write a lot of documents. I wouldn't want to be president, but if I was in the future, I would make some changes. Once I would get inaugurated, I would run it in and claim the biggest bedroom in the White House. Next, I would get 20 dogs. After a month of being president, I would give a speech about world hunger and how we need to stop it. After my speech, I will travel to Qatar to see our World Cup game. Once I get back to Qatar, I would explore the rest of the White House. After my first year as being president, I would give another speech. This one would be about COVID-19. I would make a different type of vaccine that would save anyone from COVID-19. The next day, I would give another speech about the flu. I would make a vaccine that could save anyone from the flu. I would also make shots, not hurt. After my second year of being president, I would make bullying illegal. I would invite all my friends to have a party at my house. After my third year as being president, I would give my last speech on getting new police equipment. Whenever a robbery is committed, a little phone buzz will give it the robber's location. Finally, my 4 years as president is over. That's what I do if I'm the president of the United States. Here's another one of our blogs. Today I will be talking about my grandfather, who I call Papa. His life is very interesting, so stay tuned. Here we go. My Papa, Norman Goodman, was born on May 25th, 1950, and grew up in Brooklyn, New York. His parents' names were Celia and Samuel. He was an only child. His dad owned a pharmacy, but unfortunately died when my Papa was only a teenager. My Papa went on to get a bachelor's degree of science and a master's degree in hospital administration, which I didn't know and I find very interesting. He also worked in a hospital, and he always worked in a hospital, and as a result of my Papa's job, he moved several times. While my Papa was living in Binghamton, he worked at Brookdale Hospital, and that's where he met my Mimi in 1976. They got married in 1980. Then, a little while later, on August 22nd, 1983, my mom was born in Binghamton, New York, where my Papa was president of the hospital. A year or so later, they moved to Chicago, Illinois, where he became the president of another hospital. After Chicago, my Mimi, Mom, and Papa moved to the state I live in 1990, where my Papa became president of the Brockton Hospital. He worked there for many, many years before I was born. He said that the highlight of his life was when my sister Eva and I were born, and he became a Papa. Now, my Papa is retired, and his favorite thing to do is play with his grandchildren and golf. My Papa is a really amazing person. You might be able to notice how special he is to me, considering he made it into one of my vlogs. One thing I love about him is how great of a cook he is. If he ever makes something that I don't like, he will always make a new meal just for me. Another thing that I love is that he never yells at me, ever. I can't remember a time in my life that he ever yelled. He has influenced me in many ways and has made me want to be a better person. In conclusion, my Papa is an amazing person, and I love him very, very much.
Our opinion on blogs. I, Wesley, think that blogs allow me to express myself easier.
I, Teddy, think that blogs can help me learn how to write better. I, Regan, think that this helped me empower my voice.
I, Caleb, think that blogs allow me to share experiences I've had.
In conclusion, blogs can empower and engage you by writing and showing the world about your writing skills. We hope that you enjoyed this presentation about our blogs and what we do for blogs.
Call to action. We think that you should start to write about experience in your life, share to others, and be creative about your writing. You can really share your opinion by writing it and see what other people think. Start your own blog today.
Thank you, Teddy. So before we begin our next group, I just wanted the students to see that there's some comments in the chat about brilliant blogging, and I believe that's come all the way from Scotland. Ooh. And so now we are going to hear from our podcast group. Take it away.
Welcome. We are Secret Agents 14, 17, and 21. Our teacher is Dr. Freedman. We are going to be talking about podcasting.
What is podcasting?
Oh, tell them to hold on. It happens.
Hold on.
I will have to call you back or someone has to come down. Okay. Thank you. Bye.
You know what? Before we start with the podcasting,
Yeah.
is there a chance we can? There was a question. How does blogging help with your writing?
Oh, all right. Then yes.
We'll start with the podcasting.
That's okay. We got interrupted by a phone call. You never know. All right. Who wants to answer that? Anyone want to answer that from my blog group? How does blogging help with your writing? How has it helped you with writing? Go ahead, Teddy. You start.
I think it helps me because she gives us feedback on how to make it better and like how to use commas better, and that's why that's how blogging helps me with my writing.
Wait, hold on. Is there anyone else that wants to answer that about their writing? How has it helped your writing? Go ahead, Rayna. Come on.
Go back to the.
Go ahead.
Well, I think it's just helped me improve overall in my writing. At the starting of the year, I didn't know anything about doing a blog, and after doing so many blogs, it's just it just gives like you can share anything about it, and it gives me more ideas of what I can do next with my writing pieces.
And something I want to bring up with your blogs is now you write longer pieces. True or false?
True.
Yeah, so you realize you have more to say and how to say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Anyone else want to share that, Wesley or Caleb? Okay. Any other questions for the blog group?
I think we're ready for the podcasters.
Perfect. And thank you, Dr. Joseph, about inspiring to see students confident and empowered with themselves. All right, take it away. Take two.
What is podcasting? Podcasting is when you talk to people all around the world about a topic of your choice. They get to hear an audio recording with our voices. There are many different episodes from all over the years our teacher has been doing this.
Podcasts we've done. We have done many podcasts in this school year. Our podcasts we've done include the following: interviewing our superintendent, sloths, and how we celebrate holidays. How we podcast. The first step of podcasting is to get our words from our Worthy Lies books. Our Worthy Lies books help us understand our vocabulary words easier. The second step is to add different types of ideas you can podcast about. Once you've found one that suits your podcast team, you can move on to choosing the vocabulary words. The first step is that you need 8 to 10 words from each vocabulary lesson and 16 to 20 words in all. Now it's time for you to write about the topic and use all the words. How we podcast. When we finish podcasting, we always check it with our teacher, Dr. Freedman. She will tell us what we need to fix. It could be adding another slide to tell our readers more who listen to our podcast, more information, or fixing our vocabulary. When we finish, we finally record our podcast. Our class has been using Screencastify to record. One person gives us the script while the other one records. It might take one try or more. Once we do it, Dr. Freeman strips the audio and posts it to our podcasting site. Anchor for the JJ Secret Agents.
Different types of podcasts. Now we would like to talk to you about different types of podcasts. For example, one type of podcast that you can do is a podcast about your school. Say, for example, your thoughts on the grade you're going into, what changes you would like to make to the world, or something about your favorite animal. There are so many possibilities.
When we started podcasting, our teacher first introduced us to podcasting in October. We didn't even know what to do, but our teacher taught us step by step how to start podcasting. Now it's getting easier to podcast, and it's becoming more and more easier every time we do it. How can podcasting help us? How podcasting can help us is that if there's a problem in this world that you want to fix, you can podcast about it. People will listen to it as the link is shared to families in our class social media accounts. Then people will try to help you. People will be inspired to assist in what you're doing.
How podcasting can change the world. Now we will talk about how podcasting can change the world. For instance, if you get your ideas out into the world, you will never know how it can impact others if they hear it. Another way podcasting can change the world is by coming up with a solution to a problem in the world. For example, you can make a podcast on how to end world hunger and how to stop it. Then people will try hard to help have enough food to survive.
Thank you for listening to us talk about podcasting.
We did podcasting for our Ted Lasso project because podcasting is fantastic to us and helps us learn new facts about things.
Call to action. We want you to spread this by sharing it to your families and friends about our Ted Lasso project. It's really inspirational to podcast because some people listen to our podcast online. Before we finish, here's a podcast from Agent 14 Dawson.
Welcome to Day in the Life of a 5th grader. I am Agent 14.
I'm Agent 15. Today we're going to talk about sloths.
I'm Agent 9. We are glad you have joined us.
I'm Agent 15.
I'm Agent 14.
I'm Agent 9.
This podcast is sponsored by our teacher, Dr. Freedman. Today you will get to know sloths more. Sloths can navigate around the tree. Did you know sloth babies depart from their moms at about 6 months old? Sloths might see nostalgic when they see the sunset on the horizon.
When there is strong gales, it is hard for sloths. People feel jubilation when they see an adorable baby sloth, especially after a bad day.
Sloth's skin can sever, and they are just left with their bones. Their bones can deteriorate when they die or when they get attacked. Did you know sloths can revive by healing until they're 100%? Sloths can go extinct.
Sloths are very slow, and it takes them a very long time to reach their destination.
Did you know it would take a sloth 1 hour to cross a football field? But when sloths voyage by water, they are almost 3 times as fast. Did you know sloths fill with despair when the baby sloth falls out of the tree, or if they lose their baby?
Sloths are known to live in the tropical forest of South America. How sloths survive and protect themselves from predators is their slow motion lifestyle, which makes them hard to see to cats and owls. Sloths have an option to watch their baby or watch them get eaten. This fun fact that may be hard to comprehend, but did you know that there are only 2 species of sloths in the world? The 2-toed and the 3-toed.
Animals can have prey, which can often be sloths. These are the animals that are predators to sloths: jaguars, eagles, harpy, and ocelots. Sloths can be ferocious when they are threatened. They can inflict a lot of pain when threatened.
Sloths are very old. The ancestor of all the sloths is the elephant-sized Megatherium and the pony-sized Megakings, which roamed the earth for about 10,000 years. Sloths comprehend when they are together.
Sloths are puny to other animals because sloths stand at just 23 inches tall, while their main predator is the owl, and they stand just below 2 feet tall. Thank you for learning with us about sloth.
This has been a day in the life of a fifth grader. Thank you for listening.
So before we go on to the next group, are there any podcasting questions?
I know that we're definitely back channeling over here. And there was a question about, a larger question about JJ secret agents. Like, what does it mean? Because while they were podcasting, they were like, this is agent number, this is agent number. So could somebody explain that? Because this is really exciting.
Well, I can start a little bit about that, and then I can have somebody that's interested continue. But when I student taught, I was put into a classroom in Vermont, and I sat down at a table, and the teacher said, we're going to investigate you. And I said, what do you mean? And she said, my students are training for the student sector of the FBI. And she explained that every student had an agent number. And she looked at me and said, Rayna, whatever you do with this, you're going to blow it out of the water. And we've built such a community around that. So when I started teaching, I started the secret agent force, where everything is tied to investigation, and every student has an agent number, but it's not alphabetical. The first day of school, they pick a stick out of the mug. So I need to learn their name and their number. And from a teaching standpoint, with the podcast and the blogging, it's a data privacy thing. No first names and last names, location, nothing's ever used. That's why you hear them use their agent number. And then does anyone want to answer what being a secret agent means to you? Go ahead, come on up.
A secret agent means to me is like somebody who's like a fifth grader in our classroom that always encourages people in our class. So in our classroom, we always stick together and be part of. It's like a family between us.
And let me ask you something. Do you see former agents coming in? Like
Yeah.
older ones? Yeah. Go ahead, Grayson. Did you want to add to that? Go ahead.
What a secret agent means to me is it means that you have to, we're all a community, so you have to be kind and caring to your classmates.
Anyone else want to answer about what a secret agent means to you? I just want to ask. I want to give everyone the opportunity, even if you're not presenting. You sure? I just want to ask. Are you sure? Okay. Did that kind of sum it up?
Oh, that was really fabulous. And you can see in those comments that these are great digital citizenship skills in action. When you talk about a call to action, like the idea of having secret agents is something that, you can, right now, you are inspiring and empowering other classrooms around the world to say, we could do something similar.
Yeah, and I can tell you from a management aspect, everything's numbered. So all their notebooks have labels, their pencil boxes have labels, so their book boxes have labels, so everything has a home. So I actually never have to, as a teacher in the summer when you're busy doing the work you're not supposed to be doing, right, in the summer, like getting ready for them for the fall, I actually never have to really redo anything. I just need to print out the labels. I need to just put everything in order by number, and that's it. I don't ever have to redo files or anything.
This is wonderful. We're getting a comment in from Texas. So I know that we've talked about blogging and podcasting, but is there, just from those students, a favorite project?
Is there a project we did this year that you really
Thank you,
loved?
Jamie Donnelly, for the comment and joining in and celebrating with us.
All right, I'm going to have Dylan come up and answer because he is actually not in our slate of presenters, but wants to answer this.
All right. So I'm Dylan, Agent 6, and my favorite project that we did this year was probably the what's it called? Oh yeah, the glove one for science.
Oh yeah, we did all the data sheets and collecting were on the Chromebook. It was almost in a hyperdoc form, and they had to figure out a chemical change in a glove using vinegar and baking powder or soda. Soda, that's what I thought. Anyone else have a favorite project or something we've done with our digital skills? Okay, tell me, and maybe I can help you.
One where we got a string of plates and we had to make a project out of it.
Oh, the one we're doing now?
No, before. We
made an actual sculpture from
Where did you make it?
science one.
Wait, the one with like the river?
Oh, the ecosystem. Go ahead. Took me a second. I'm thinking place like what you're doing now.
So a little bit ago, we did like this ecosystem project, and how it really worked was Dr. Freeman assigned us a place.
A place in what state? What state? You
Massachusetts.
have an eco-region here.
And we had like a couple weeks to search up a lot of facts about it. And then we went to our science room, and what we did there was we got to make a video after we created this
Solution to it.
yeah, like a solution to it, and we built we built our place with reusable items in the science room.
And do you remember what you used to record yourself?
Our Chromebooks.
Yeah, but what program? Do you remember what you used?
Flip.
Yep, Flip. So they had to find a problem in their eco-region and develop a solution and use the engineer design process to figure that out.
This is fantastic because these are real examples about solving real problems in local, global, and digital communities. Yeah, Jamie, absolutely. Addressing real problems.
Yeah, we have a few more that would like to share, and I think we have time for them to share if that's okay.
Perfect. Keep going.
Yeah.
Conferences.
We did a project in social studies that was about loyalists and patriots. So in this project, we had partners that we get a person that was either a loyalist or a patriot, and then we got to like cut out like a paper, pretend to be the person, while there was another person who was another person who was talking about our character and backing up information about them.
Yep,
It was
so
like a debate.
we had a debate, a news reporter. You had to research your person to be your person in this debate. Grayson?
So my favorite activity that we have done, or project that we've done this year, is every Friday we have DQs, discovery quests, where we make slide decks about like a big question that can't just be answered by searching it up, and we have to make a presentation about it.
So why don't you share some of the ones you've done?
So I've done some on how do airplanes fly, who is Jalen Hurts, what others have I done?
Inflation? Is that you?
Yeah, what is inflation, and what are microchips? So we do them every Friday.
And everyone's is different.
Well, I love Jamie's comment about this, the student. Yeah, future marketer.
Any other questions before we move on to the next part of our presentation?
Yeah, I have one question.
Yeah.
How do you choose the topics that you are going to talk about in the podcast? Is there a program that you set up at the beginning of the school year, or it's something weekly? Which on a regular basis do you record the podcast episode?
I'm going to tell you, I'm going to let him answer that, but I'm going to tell you, I never know what they're going to do ahead of time. Go ahead.
Okay.
So it's kind of like how we choose the DQs. It's just like we we all talk about, like, brainstorm ideas on what we are going to do for a topic with our group.
And what is it based on? What do you learn first? What do you have to do first?
The Worldly Wise.
Yeah, we use our 5th grade vocabulary book and we learn the words, and then from that they have to decide, right?
Yeah.
What the words can go with. So his particular group figured out that his words could use sloths. So if you listen to it, like the word despair was one of their vocabulary words. They have to use 8 to 10 per topic, and there's 2 topics per podcast.
Okay.
So it's all student led. I have nothing to do with it. They just look at the words and figure it out. And I know there was the group that interviewed a principal here, so they've recognized that they don't have to stay in the classroom to do this. And another group saw that and chose to interview our superintendent. And they actually were deciding between her and ice cream and went with her.
This is what learning should look like in every classroom, everywhere. This is fantastic.
All right, are we ready for the last part of our presentation?
Sure.
We'll go
Yes.
behind the scenes again.
All right, perfect. So the last part of our presentation is our student-led conference group. Believe it or not, fifth graders can run their own student-led conference. And here is our group to explain more about that.
Introduction. We are students from Dr. Freeman's 5th grade class of Secret Agents. My name is Grayson, Agent 2. We are going to be talking about student-led conferences and how they empower students.
My name is Karen, Agent 5. There are many different ways to make student-led conferences. Like through Google Slides and websites, you can also use Wakelet. How we make student-led conferences. We make student-led conferences by having different subtopics like metacognition, thinking about our thinking, things we learned, areas we can grow, and things we are proud of. Here is a template our teacher gave us to make them, then I'll share the work I did. So the template we had was right here, it says what we have to add on the front page. It's the home page, and we put it in right here. Then on metacognition, we have to explain what metacognition means to us, and then we have to answer the following questions right here. And then on this one, we have to insert our digital portfolio slide deck we made in the fall, and the other ones were things I learned, areas I can grow, and things I'm proud of. Now here is the one I did. So right here I did all the questions I had to answer, my interests, who I am, and stuff like that. And then I had to do the agenda. And then right here I explained what I think metacognition means to me. I answered all the questions.
Can you go back up so they can see what you thought metacognition is? Because it's rare that a fifth grader can talk about this. Why don't you tell them what you think it is?
All right, so metacognition is thinking about your thinking. But what it means to me, I think about a problem in math, and before I get it checked, I think about what I did and try to make it so it's perfect. So then I put in my fall conference right here. Here I put things I learned in all subjects like reading, science, social studies, and then writing, and also math.
And then you'll notice that she's taken pictures and video as evidence that we can put into her portfolio. So that way when she presents to her guardians, she can show them what she's talking about.
And then I had areas I can grow, and I said what I can grow in, and then I showed some images for examples of areas I can grow. And the last one is things I'm proud of. I did this, I wrote about what I'm proud of, and then once again I have some images of what I'm proud of.
And then why don't you go down and tell them, keep going, why you have this badge here.
Oh, so the reason I have this image right here is because for one of my DQs, I did it on who is Bentley, and Bentley is a service dog who works throughout the school's programs, and I won this badge, as you can see in the image right here. That was from my DQ, and I won that badge for the DQ, and that's why I have this image of the badge right here.
And so you got to bring in our dog Bentley and Officer Wright, who is our school resource officer. So DQs also can have guests.
Yes.
And who are you bringing in for your next DQ? Totally side story.
My grandpa to teach the class how to do Scottish dance.
Right.
About student-led conferences. Hi, my name is Maddie, Agent 12. We think student-led conferences empower students because the students actually get to show their work instead of the teachers and guardian. They also empower students because they can be proud of their work.
Hi, my name is Caleb, Agent 16. In summary, we think student-led conferences empower students more than parent-teacher conferences because the student is in charge of the conference.
Our experience for our student-led conferences. My experience with my student-led conference. At first I was nervous, but once I started speaking, I felt fine. I could keep doing the presentation. I talked to my parents and teachers.
At my student-led conference, I presented to my mom and my teachers. When I present my student-led conference, I felt confident. Also, when I presented
my student-led conference, I show my mom some of my work.
At my student-led conference, I talked to my parents about the different subtopics and work that I did. Then I showed my parents some of the work that I did from the semester, comparing it to the beginning of the year.
When I did my conference, I had to explain my work and growth in my work throughout the year. I also showed some videos of some of my previous work I had done throughout the year and made some new videos about the work I learned in math.
Call to action. We want you to try and change your parent-teacher conferences to student-led conferences. This will empower your students more than parent-teacher conferences. You can do this by suggesting it to your teacher or principal.
And are there any questions for the student-led conference team? I love that you both pop back up.
You know, this was absolutely fabulous to look at 3 different areas, right? We got to hear about blogging, podcasting, and that student led. At all of those examples was the student at the center. And I love that both of us love that you added these call to actions for all 3 examples. If there was just one thing, because what we feel like you just modeled was what a connected classroom looks like.
Yeah.
And we thank you for breaking down your classroom walls and inviting the outside world to come and learn with you and to celebrate you, as we've been celebrating students in classrooms and school communities around the world all month long. This is exactly what we want to inspire and empower other classrooms to look like in school communities. So for anybody that's joining that might be a little bit hesitant, like not know, how do I get going? I know we have a hard stop because of your bell and the bus at the end of the day, but what's that one thing that we could dip our toe in and try to do exactly what you're doing?
I mean, what, you think the easiest out of the 3 is which one? Which one do you think the easiest is? That's what I would think, the blogging. Because that's something that everyone has to teach anyway, which is writing. I mean, a preschooler and a kindergartner could do it, right? Even with dictating. So it's a great place to start.
Did you see that comment from Jamie Donnelly?
I love Jamie Donnelly, and I'm thrilled she's here. I've never heard of such a cool idea, student-led conference instead of parent-teacher conference. Wow. Jamie Donnelly, let me tell you that the only year I did not do student-led conference was year 1. I mean, I was 21, 22 years old, brand new teacher, and I kept thinking at that table, there is something missing at this conference. And it wasn't that it was just me and the parents, thank you for shutting that up, or the guardians at that point. And it wasn't that it was uncomfortable. I just felt like here I am talking about the strengths and weaknesses and areas of growth and things I'm proud of, and who's missing? The person in charge of their learning. And so year 2, I started doing student-led conferences with 3rd graders. And they took, no joke, 45 minutes for each kid. I mean, I'd be meeting families at the public library because they needed night times, because the school time just didn't allot for that. But now, because I've been doing it so long, it takes about, 15 minutes? We've got it down now. And if anybody I'm a sharer. So if anybody ever wants a copy of the template, they can always reach out to me. I'm happy to share templates. I mean, I have the template for the blog directions. We actually, the pandemic, a blessing, right? I learned how to digitize my podcasting because when the kids were remote and hybrid, they could still podcast, they could still blog, and they could still do their student-led conferences. So we just plowed through the pandemic.
Yeah, all 3 practices were like pandemic friendly, we might say, and you can keep on with your learning experiences ongoing throughout the school year.
Yeah, we never hit that pause button.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm loving it. Tomorrow we're having a session that with a school that is starting a podcast about digital citizenship. So maybe they will want to connect with you because you have all the experience, which is amazing.
Yeah, and we're real mindful of the data privacy piece too. I mean, the students aren't uploading the podcast. They're using Screencastify and sharing. They know how to export it, an MP4 into an MP3, which is another important skill to learn. They make the audio file, and then they share that audio file with me, and then I'm uploading it into a class account.
This was such a treat to be able to spend October with you when you did our Instagram social media takeover. That was incredible. And that was with the Global Read Aloud, while what you were highlighting and showcasing. But to be able to, again, in the same school year with the same classroom and agents, to celebrate how you learn as a classroom. There aren't enough words about the full heart to be able to experience this and to celebrate with you. So thank you so much. And thank you for everyone that joined us live. We look forward to continuing to learn side by side with you.
Yeah,
And
remember, everything smells like potential.
It is, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you. What do we say?
Thank you.